Hakeem Jeffries.
Oh my God.
Look, I spend a lot of time mocking Chuck Schumer because Schumer is largely useless in leadership of the Senate. But Hakeem Jeffries is not just largely useless in the leadership in the House, but also, doesn't he have any advisors? Doesn't anybody work for Hakeem Jeffries who could say to him, you don't have to go out there and do these interviews. Right. Maybe somebody else should. Like, keep your position, but why do you keep trying to go and prove that you're not good at this? Like, what was it? We saw him last week. He was on CNBC, and he's there to carry a message to his corporate donors. And Joe Kernan, the guy who gets rolled by just about anybody.
It was Sorkin, but yeah.
Well, Sorkin, but then Joe Kernan afterwards. We didn't play the rest of that clip,
okay.
but he's getting completely boxed in and defensive by the guys on CNBC. Like, why do you keep going places that you think are going to be less hostile to you and you end up on the defensive? Like, you've been to CNBC. How about go and talk to some, recently former Republicans? Like, ostensibly, these are your people, Hakeem Jeffries, right? These are the people that you have designed the whole program for. These are the people who you think like, oh, okay, I'm not going to endorse Zohran Mamdani because Mamdani is going to keep me from being able to reach out to Republicans and never Trumpers. And these are your people, and you still get rolled. Play this.
First, I guess I don't understand what the holdup is on endorsing Zohran Mamdani in the mayor's race. Could you explain that to me?
Yeah, so I didn't know Zohran at all. First time I ever sat down and met with him was last month. In Connecticut.
Just an absolute lie that Hakeem Jeffries isn't intimately aware with rising socialist politicians in this city. He's actively conspiring against them. But
okay, well, let's just take Hakeem Jeffries at his word that he, up until a month ago, had no idea who this guy, who incidentally won his district by 15, 20 points, no idea who he was 30 days ago. And didn't realize, when I met him 30 days ago, I also didn't realize, I hadn't read the news, didn't know that he won the Democratic primary for mayor.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, so what?
No idea.
He's if he didn't know that, he's pretty incompetent because this is the city that he represents.
Okay, now I'm going to just take him at face value.
Sure.
Okay, he's completely incompetent.
Sure.
But also, do you know who Curtis Sliwa is? Do you know who Eric Adams, who just sold out the city so that he wasn't investigated anymore? Do you know who Andrew Cuomo is? The guy who was driven out of office because of 13 accusations of sexual assault, not to mention what he did with the thousands of people he put into into nursing homes and that led to their death. Not to mention the what was it? The report, the report on corruption. What was that committee? I can't even remember now. That you appointed, the McEnroe, the anti-corruption, the Moreland Commission, that as soon as they started investigating your office, you disbanded. Not to mention the IDC. Do you know about that stuff, Hakeem Jeffries, since you've been a New York politician for that entire time? I didn't know.
Can he not? Hakeem Jeffries has made endorsements over and over again without even having met the politician. He sat down with Zohran 2 months ago. This is the worst answer ever. And getting embarrassed by a former Jeb Bush guy, no matter if he wears a puka shell necklace or whatever the hell, is even more embarrassing than being a former Jeb Bush guy who wears a puka shell necklace.
And again, I didn't meet him until a month ago. Well, buddy, the election is in like 3 months from now. Like, what do you like? I have to know somebody for 45 days personally.
Well, if he's
Before I
Muslim,
endorse him. I mean,
if
like,
he's
what-
Muslim, it's a little scary. He needs more time to warm up to him.
First time I ever sat down and met with him was last month, in connection with him becoming the Democratic nominee. It was a good conversation. He was out in East New York in that part of the district. That's very important to me, very important to Brooklyn, very important to the city of New York. Often doesn't get a lot of attention. It was a candid conversation. It was comprehensive. And we were really having a community-focused discussion about the things that would matter to communities like East New York or Brownsville or the West End of Coney Island, Canarsie, working class neighborhoods traditionally and continue to be predominantly African American and Caribbean American, the things that would matter to them, as well as in the southern Brooklyn part of the district that I represent, which is predominantly Jewish. So that was a good conversation. It was an important right?
Just to be clear, the question was, why haven't you endorsed Mamdani? And he just spent 90 seconds, maybe more, talking about New York City. Incidentally, Mamdani was out campaigning in an area that generally doesn't get attention. Okay.
That's great.
Why
That's
didn't
exactly
you
the
endorse him
point.
again? Go ahead.
No, but is that the end of it?
No.
There's
okay,
some
why was
music
there
cue
music?
that comes in. I'm not sure what
it's
this is.
in there. I feel like the producer was like, let's just cut to a break. This is bullshit. I don't know, but the music
So it's
will
their
stop
music.
quickly.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That would matter to them, as well as in the southern Brooklyn part of the district that I represent, which is predominantly Jewish. So that was a good conversation. It was an important one to have, right? I don't just
That's
simply
their music.
endorse folks based on no understanding of
Okay.
what the plan is
What's going on over
to
there?
actually deliver and make life better for the people that I'm privileged to represent. In that conversation, he asked me to put together a follow-up meeting with some community leaders in many of the neighborhoods that I represent, which I told him I would do. Was setting that in motion. Should occur within the next few weeks. And then once that meeting
It takes you
place,
7
along with
weeks
some
to
other
set this up?
conversations that he's having with members of the congressional delegation, and then I'll make a decision thereafter.
Okay. I guess I was a Republican up till 2 minutes ago, and I'm a capitalist, and I had Zohran on, and I went at him on a variety of issues we disagree on, but like, it's not really a close call, is it? I mean, you have a corrupt mayor that is doing deals with Donald Trump. You had a guy that had to resign in disgrace that already lost a Democratic primary. I don't like. It's not a close call, right? Why not just endorse him and then work with him?
Well, I think what I can say is that he's the only one I'm scheduled to talk to.
Okay. Why not just let's just get it over with though? Why you're prolonging the pain, leader? Why not just endorse Zohran? It's not that hard, right?
Well, listen. I understand, but it's not like things aren't happening. I was just in Chicago. I was in Texas. I was in California.
Right.
We're in the middle of an unprecedented redistricting war.
Yeah, so
That just started and so what? Like, this guy's so bad at what he does. He is so. There's only two answers. There's really only two explanations for the question that Miller asked him, which is, one, I'm just super incompetent, and I want to try and drag this out as much as possible, so that when he does become mayor, I'm as alienated from him as possible. Or two, I have been told by donors, do not endorse until the last minute. Do not do anything to help this guy win, period, end of story. And I am so captured by these donors that I have to keep going out and embarrassing myself over and over and over again. Incidentally, it doesn't just hurt Hakeem Jeffries. What Hakeem Jeffries is doing is hurting every Democrat. He is not a backbencher. He is hurting the party, He is hurting its prospects. He is hurting the media narrative. I mean, like, across the board. He's being mocked by never Republican, who's, more or less his positions are all basically Mitt Romney's.
Yep.
This is not like some,
He's the younger
huge
face of
liberal.
the Lincoln Project now, basically. That's kind of his role. Not to say that he didn't do, made fun of him a little. That was a good line of questioning where he asked him there. Like, I first of all, we were talking about this on MSNBC last night. I hope Jeffries doesn't endorse. The longer he doesn't endorse, the more it helps Mamdani, and the more it helps whoever DSA is going to promote to run in the district that Jeffries represents. Because I've got news for this guy. Zohran won by 12 points in your district in a primary that had historic turnout. And it doesn't show any signs of slowing down going into 2026, especially this anger at the Democratic establishment. It might hurt Mamdani. I don't think it would hurt him, but I definitely don't think it helps him to get Hakeem Jeffries' endorsement. I think Jeffries is hurt more by continuing to take shots at Mamdani. So I welcome that he does it, because I want there to be a new leadership in the party. He's entirely incapable of doing what his stated purpose is, which is his concern that donors are going to abandon the Democrats nationally. He knows that he's representing more than himself. It's why other New York Democrats have been quicker to endorse Mamdani, not obviously Schumer or Gillibrand. But Gillibrand is also a national figure. She's the head of the Democrat Senatorial Campaign Committee. So these three New York Democrats have outsized power in the party, outsized connection to donors, and they are speaking to that audience. And so they're concerned about donors saying, I am cutting off our money for the rest of the frontline races across the country if you endorse a guy like Zohran Mamdani. And the point, though, is that money right now is showing that it may not make a difference in all of these races. In many of them, it will. But what did we just see in Wisconsin? The most amount of money ever spent in that race. And it was a partisan fight, sure. But Elon Musk's money didn't matter. In fact, it drew more attention to the race. If AIPAC spends, it's going to draw more attention to any race against in this country. What? Go on.
Do you know who spent a lot of money back in 24 in the 2024 election? Who had a ton of money?
Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Yes. Like, the point is that that's what his primary purpose, he thinks, is basically to make sure that it's a favorable fundraising environment for the rest of the people in his caucus that are not in liberal commie New York City. But he is completely, thankfully, because I hope this is the end of his political career, misreading the moment about what Mamdani represents outside of the city. It's not just the appeal here in New York. It may look different in other parts of the country, but activating non-traditional voters disaffected by the political system, is something that the Democrats feel they can't control, they can't get a handle on, and it doesn't have the micro-targeting of those small sliver of never-Trump Republicans that are hyper-focused on because they spend money and donate, and that they can be targeted by pricey ad buys that make consultants rich. It's crazy, the level of corruption that's on display here. But they're making themselves irrelevant. On MSNBC last night, I got no pushback, none at all, from people on this panel when I was saying that there needs to be a leadership change overall. This is like widely agreed upon right now within the Democratic Party. So we have to keep putting our thumb in this bullet hole and create more pain for them, because it gives us an opportunity to transform the party. And you're seeing that it's showing. Can we play number 2 here? Like Catherine Clark, Jeffries is number 2. So in leadership, right below him is now using the term genocide, after we have polling that shows that only 8% of Democrats agree with Israel's military action in Gaza. You only do this if you are in leadership with Jeffries, if you smell blood in the water, and then you're also getting polling at home that says if you don't shift your rhetoric on this, you're going to feel it. So I'm glad, but this is important that Clark changed here.
And we each have to continue to have an open heart about how we do this, how we do it effectively, and how we take action in time to make a difference. Whether that is stopping the starvation and genocide and destruction of Gaza, or whether that means we are working together to stop the redistricting that is going on, taking away the vote from people in order to retain power. And it's exhausting to do all of it, but we have to.
And isn't that funny that she said that when you just heard in that interview with Tim Miller, Jeffries repeatedly try to bring it back to purely the partisan redistricting fight. He kept saying, I've got a lot to worry about. We have a gerrymandering fight across the country. She said it explicitly there. And I think that says something about the internal machinations of leadership right now. We have to do both. And she said the word genocide in her answer. So there are cracks here that we can exploit.
Let's hope. I mean, he's just not up to the job. There needs to be a leadership change in both. And maybe that comes in 2026.
I want him primaried out. That would be a very efficient way to get a leadership change prior to even November 2026. We'll see. He's way more vulnerable than people think, as is Dan Goldman, as are these other Democrats captured by the AIPAC lobby. People see what that means. It's reflected in poll numbers, but also I think this is just the beginning of like when you have that AIPAC tag on you, it's going to be like a target for populist anger, as it should be.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.